here. It is finally upon us. I am back. Shane is out, but I am here. I am back. I am here to break down the card. Every single fight on this card. This is a massive, 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 and I mean massive, grapefruit massive, freaking fucking fight card. This is huge. This is huge. This is big. This is so damn big. Obviously, topping it off with one of the, if not the biggest lightweight fight of UFC history. In UFC history, it is, I mean, stacked top to bottom with just names that are going to be hard to pronounce for a lot of people, but I am here to save you. I am the professor. I am here to pronounce them correctly for you. I am here to predict things correctly for you. I'm here to win some money, guys, man. The last couple of cards, it's been win some, lose some, win some, lose some, constantly down, constantly up a little, constantly down, 3 steps forward, 10 steps back. We need to get on a massive, massive run, and I think we're going to begin that run. I think we're going to begin that run now, and I wish Shane was here. Sugar Shane was here to join us, but he's not here to join us. It's going to be me riding solo today, but I'm going to carry you guys the way, and we are going to kick things off this amazing card with a rather less than amazing fight. Of course, Lena Landsberg taking on Carl Rosa, and not really much to say on this one. I'm going to be on the side of Carl Rosa because she's fighting Lena Landsberg, and that's about all the breakdown I really need to give this one. Lena Landsberg's 40. They're both coming off losses to Sarah McMahon, who is a win some, lose some fighter in the women's bantamweight division. So, I'm going to go with Carl Rosa. She is just kind of a little bit better all around. She's also more than a decade younger, and I'm not being an ageist here, but it's just, Lena, she's 40. Come on now. Time to go be with family. Time to stop this barbaric sport. Do it on the side. Stay in shape. Roll with your teammates. Spar a little bit. You don't need to be getting in the cage with anybody, especially not somebody who is 27, 28, entering their prime of their careers. Carl Rosa should win this fight. I don't like betting on anybody that's a minus, female fighters that are minus 250. I don't lay that kind of juice on female fighters because they're just so unpredictable sometimes. Lena Landsberg, at one point in time was all right, but she's, call it what she is. She's old, but she's the bigger fighter. She's got that, but despite not having a reach, apparently, according to Tapology here, she's got a 2-inch reach disadvantage. I'm getting too deep into the numbers here. It really doesn't matter. This is more of the opposite of a spoiled cherry on on top of a sundae. This is more the opposite way, the inverse way of stacking that sundae. You're starting with the spoiled cherry, which is this fight, and you're working your way up towards the nucleus, the best part of the entire card. Maybe they'll surprise us. Maybe they'll get into a little bit of a fire fest, and who knows, surprise us. But I'm going to be with Charles. Almost called her Charles Rosa. Carl Rosa. She's all around better. She's younger. She should get this one done. Moving on up the card, Muhammad Mokaev versus Malcolm Gordon. The first real fight on the card, at least the not first real fight. I shouldn't say that. But the first interesting fight to me on the card. Muhammad Mokaev is a minus. It says minus 700 here, but I think on DraftKings he's up to a minus 1150, I believe. Let's call it what it is. It's going to be, I don't want to say a walk in the park because Malcolm Gordon is good. He's a solid fighter. I thought Mokaev was going to get a little bit of a different opponent than Malcolm Gordon. Malcolm Gordon's, all right. He's in the prime of his career, if you want to call it that. 14-5. He's 3-2 in his last 5. He's coming off a knockout, or not even a knockout. It was a smishy arm injury, Dennis Bondor. So That was 8 months ago. He's a solid fighter. Mokaev is gonna do basically what he said to me on Twitter. Actually, he said that I said, "Are you going to take this guy down?" And he actually responded and said, "Yes, his wrestling's bad. I'm going to shoot immediately." So I would expect him to do just that. He pretty much did that in the last fight. He's got decent hands. He can stand a little bit. Malcolm Gordon is no slouch. He really isn't. It's just Mokaev is he's on a different level right now, and he's only 22 years of age. He just turned 22. He is one of the young, bright prospects, up and comers. I mean, he's not even. He's years away. He's years from his prime, but he's still a beast. And he's a massive favorite for a reason. He's making his way through the flyweight division, a division that is really coming to its own, especially in the last year and a half. A lot of depth is coming through that division, and this is one of the guys. Both of these guys are good. I mean, Malcolm X Gordon, but Mokaev really is the Punisher. I think he's going to come out fast pace, heavy pace early on. A couple of 1-2s, and shoot the takedown immediately. Take the back of Malcolm Gordon. Wouldn't be surprised if he finished him. I don't really know how I'm going to. I don't really have a prediction as far as when this fight's going to end. This could be a decision. I mean, his last fight, Mokai basically just hung on to the back the entire 3 rounds. Just took the back every single time, whether he was standing or on the ground. And I wouldn't be surprised if Malcolm Gordon basically kind of fended him off a little bit enough to just survive for 3 rounds, just kind of get washed. Maybe a rather boring fight, but nonetheless, it's an interesting one. Mokaev is a very good young prospect, and I'm looking forward to seeing him in the future. We're going to go Mokaev by decision, maybe a late round finish. We'll go ahead and just plug in decision on this one. Moving on, up the card, a very, very, very good fight, potentially. I think Armen Petrosyan and AJ Dobson. I'm going to be on the side of Armen Petrosyan. I just think Armen Petrosyan is a couple of levels above AJ Dobson. AJ Dobson is, he in his fight with I was watching his fight with Jacob Malkoun, and you hear Bisping on the broadcast just saying, he just learn how to throw, those, hey, he showed up to the gym and he just started, hey, I could do this for a living. He just kind of started showing that he can throw hands, they were so amazed that he was able, in that fight, in the Malkoun fight, that he was throwing straight punches, that he was able to connect on a straight punch. And that, right there told me, I watched the whole fight. Jacob Malkoun's a good fighter. He fought last week against Nick Maximov, who got hurt early in the fight. Malkoun ended up winning 3-round decision, 30-27 to him. But couldn't finish him despite him being hurt, and really doesn't finish anybody. He's not really. He's a good fighter, but he's less than stellar. And AJ Dobson lost to him unanimously. He had a good first round in that fight. He hit him with some good shots, rocked him a bit, had Malkoun shooting for the takedown early, even though that's pretty much all he does. It's his game manuscript is just shoot takedowns the entire fight. But nonetheless, he was standing up at one point, and Dobson was able to connect with a couple of good shots on him, and really put him down. Not put him down, but had him rocked, had him shooting, and but then he just got tired and lost his ability to fight, because in the second and third round he was, for the most part, manhandled. And Malkoun had his way with him for the rest of the fight. So Armen Petrosyan is a very good kickboxer. He's very, very, he's 3-2 in his last 5, but he's coming off a loss to Cabarajo, who fights later on the card, and we're going to talk about him in a little bit. Who he is a beast. Ran into him, and Barajo had a tough time. Who is trying to take his back, and Barajo is a very good fighter, and we're going to talk about him, like I said, in a little but he is, he went 3 rounds with them. I think you can argue he won round 2. Petrosian did. He, I think he showed in that fight, and not even in just that fight. I mean, the fight before that with Gregory Rodriguez, he won that fight in split decision. And some people say RoboCop won that fight. Obviously, it kind of it's which rocking do you value more? At which point of the fight? Which Petrosian, like in the first round, RoboCop was hitting him with some heavy shots. It seemed like the more powerful shots, but Petrosian, every time RoboCop entered the pocket, he hit him with a very good combo. 1-2-3, 1-2-3, 1-2-3s, and actually outlanded RoboCop in the first round, a round that I think he lost for sure. Nonetheless, he looked very good. RoboCop's a very good fighter. Just finished Chidi Njokuani a couple of weeks ago. He's making his way through the middleweight division. Arma Petrosian, I think this is a rebound fight for him. AJ Dobson has, he does hit hard. Petrosian has been knocked out before in his career, in his pro career, but I don't think Dobson, maybe he does land some good shots on him, and maybe he does look like he's got Petrosian hurt at one point, but I think Petrosian is just a teaser for best bets, but I think he is just a couple legs ahead, a couple steps ahead of Dobson in terms of skill level. So we're going to go with Arma Petrosian, and honestly, I think it's going to go to decision, but for fun, we're going to say TKO. We're going to say round 2 because Dobson, that's when he begins to tire out, and Petrosian appears to have a gas tank because he's gone the distance with Calbarajo and RoboCop now, and that's all you got to. I mean, Kaloyan Kaliv. I mean, that guy was undefeated. I mean, he's really fought better competition. I mean, it really comes down to that compared to AJ Dobson. So. Respect to AJ Dobson, but he's just not on the level of Arma Petrosian. Moving on, up the card. The battle of the fun names to say. Abubakar Nurmagomedov taking on Omar Gadzhi. I messed up, didn't I? My guy, Omar Gadzhiev. There we go. This one I've been so back and forth on. But I'm going to be on the side of the dog here, and here's why. Omar Gadzhiev is these are both very good fighters, and normally when you see the name Nurmagomedov, you just Umar Nurmagomedov, Usman Nurmagomedov, Khabib Nurmagomedov, you just start thinking, oh boy, how the hell are you crazy? You bet against that guy? But listen, he's 16-3. He has 3 losses. He's not undefeated, like Khabib Nurmagomedov, like Umar Nurmagomedov. He's not 21-1 like Islam Makhachev. He's 16-3. He's got 3 losses for a reason, and one of them is in the UFC. He lost to David Zawada, who is obviously who's a good fighter, but nonetheless, I mean, he's lost to a lot of guys. He lost to Alex Morano, lost to Ramazan Nameev. So David Zawada's nothing special. And so for Abubakar Nurmagomedov to lose to him, to get submitted by him in a triangle, get caught in a triangle, it's just really nothing. He really hasn't done anything impressive. He's not that all that impressive. I don't think he's going to be able to out wrestle Gadzhi. He's not like the other Nurmagomedovs. He's good. Would it shock me if he won this? No, I wouldn't be shocked. I think he's a good fighter. I just don't. I think Gadzhi is a very, very solid fighter, and he also ran into the Calbarajo. He got the Calbarajo treatment, and I mean that guy really. We're going to talk about him in a little bit, but he might be the real deal. He could be a future champion. And losing to him, there's no shame in losing to him. I mean, and that's his only loss. He'd be 13-0 outside of that. So He's got a good all-around game. I don't think he's going to get out-wrestled here. I think he's going to. This is going to be this is a tough fight, coin flip of a fight to call. But I'm going to be on the dog side here. You got to take. This is one of those fights where you take the dog and you know, it's like when Demiris Magulov and Guram Kudalazzi. You know, whoever was the dog in that fight, whoever's going to be listed as the underdog in that is who I would lay my money on. You know, and this is going to be one of those fights too. So we're going to go with Omar Gatsaev by decision, 3-round decision. I think he gets it done. I think he outpaces Nurmagomedov, and I can't believe I'm saying that. I don't think you're not going to ever hear anybody ever be able to really say that too often, but that might be the case here. Gotzi's a pretty good fighter. There's a lot of good fighters on this card. It's a stacked card. Moving on. Next fight in the prelims. This is a good one right here, guys. Zaberia Tukagov versus Lucas Almeida. And Lucas Almeida, firefighter, and not the occupation, not the one that saves people and puts out fires. I'm talking about he likes to get into fire fights. Knocked out Mike Trezano a couple of weeks ago, but a couple of months back, earlier this year. I think there was some controversy because there was a headbutt in there, but nonetheless, he finished him. He was originally came on the Contender Series last year, lost to Daniel Zellhuber, and this is where my issue comes. Daniel Zellhuber, who ended up having a pretty terrible debut against Trey Ogden after defeating Lucas Almeida. Really, it doesn't look all that great to lose to him now. And Zaberia Tukagov is a very technical fighter when you watch him. He is very precise. He's kind of like an Ankalaev, Magomed Ankalaev, where he's just of the light heavyweight division, where he's just he's very he calculates his punches. I just think Lucas Almeida, he's good. He's a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belt. He has a good Muay Thai style. You know, when you watch him, it's fun to watch. He's very, very fun to watch. This is the kind of fighter that you root for. You want him to win. He's the bigger fighter here. He's going to have the reach advantage. Good low kicks. He maintains distance well. I will say that. This is a tough fight, and I definitely think it's going to go to decision. Even though he's going to come out swinging Almeida, I think this is still going to go to decision. And that would probably be the side that I would put my money on here. But that's to be a teaser for the best bets. I am going to go ahead and pick Zaberia. I think he's going to get this done. I went back and forth on this because Almeida is the underdog. It's like another one of those where you take the dog and kind of just roll with it. But I just think that he might win the first round and then he will lose the next 2 rounds. He'll gas out, and that's exactly how it's gonna go down in my mind. He's gonna get tired after the first round, and Tukagov is gonna take over, start to see, and cruise his way on to a 29-28 unanimous decision victory. Moving on, up the card, Volkan Ozdemir versus Nikita Krylov. This is another pretty decent fight in the light heavyweight division. It's got some pretty big stakes in it. It's pretty much a, winner moves into that you are a real contender again in the case of Ozdemir, or you are now a real contender, Nikita Krylov. I mean, these guys are both real contenders, but Ozdemir's always been that guy that could never get over the hump. I mean, all of his losses are, you lost to Glover Teixeira. He's, lost to Glover Teixeira, lost to Yuri Prochazka, who's the champ now, lost to Dominic Reyes, lost to Anthony Smith, lost to Daniel Cormier. So, his losses are to the, best fighters of all time. But Krylov, he's not somebody. He's a minus 170 favorite, and I think rightfully so. He's been a guy that I've lost money on though in the past. Though he fights with a low IQ, a very low IQ sometimes, and it costs him in a lot of his fights. But I don't think it's going to happen in this fight. I think Ozdemir looked like absolute ass in his last fight. He just did. Looked like crap, trash, garbage. Looked like he didn't want to be there. Looked like he fought like he was just petrified that Paul Craig could sub him in any second. And kudos to Paul Craig. That is kind of the case in a lot of instances. But come on now, Ozdemir, you've fought world champions. Do something other than just kind of stand there and look sluggish like a fat Tyson Fury who doesn't box anymore. I mean, you just it was just it was just one of the worst fights. That was the London card. It was awful. He didn't do well against Paul Craig. I know Nikita Krylov got submitted by Paul Craig. He got caught in the triangle. There's a lot of people do by Paul Craig. Even Ankalaev got caught in the triangle, and we all know that he is way better than. We all know that he's a top flight light heavyweight. Krylov got caught in it. He lost, but he was dominating before that. I think he just got overconfident. He was landing, big shots on Craig, rocking Craig. I thought Craig was about to get finished, and then all of a sudden it was just like, whoop, wrap those legs around like a spider, and bye-bye, Krylov. I think Krylov, he looks fresher. He looks like he's been, he just looks like he's been working at his game more. Ozdemir kind of looks like Misha Serkinov last week, where he's just there to collect a paycheck. I don't think he's going to get finished here. Well, you know what? I take that back. Let's have some fun here. We're going Nikita Krylov, or we're going to go with a TKO. Let's say third round. Let's say second round. I think Krylov I just think he's on the rise, and Ozdemir's kind of on not a steep decline, but he's on the decline. This is going to be kind of like where Ozdemir loses. He loses this fight, then his next fight maybe takes on, I don't know, John Mahal Hill, gets knocked out by him. And then he really starts to build up those losses and tumble his way down and out of the rankings and off onto the UFC and onto retirement and onto whatever else he is going to do, because he looked like absolute garbage in his last fight. If he has that kind of performance against Krylov in this fight, Krylov will put him away, and I think that's what he's going to do in round two. Ozdemir has been only knocked out once. He's been submitted 6 times. But hey, you know what? Maybe Nikita Krylov, Ozdemir's hard to take down. So if Krylov can take him down, he can submit him. So maybe we'll go with submission, and we're going to go with round 2 submission for Krylov. Eventually, round 1, maybe a little bit slower, tougher for him. Maybe some good shots are landed, but he doesn't get any of the takedowns. Round 2 comes, lands a takedown finally. Maybe gets the back of Ozdemir, landed some ground and pound. Ozdemir tries to escape, get away, get out of there, leaves his neck out. Krylov catches him. Boom. Nighty night, Volkan Ozdemir. You boring ass fighter. Moving on. Up the card. Kyle Barajo, as we mentioned numerous times, got his free spirit tattoo on his neck, versus Makhmud Muradov. And I'm going to be on the Kyle Barajo side. It's pretty plain and simple. Muradov, I'm not discrediting, discounting, disrespecting him in any way. I don't think Barajo should be, and I think those odds have came down a little bit, minus 220. I believe he's under minus 200 now. Or maybe he's not. It might be somewhere still around there. He shouldn't be that much of a favorite. I think he's very. I think he's very, very, very good. Muradov is very good. The problem is, I cannot get it out of my head. That fight last summer, where he just got bullied almost, where he just got like big brothered into submission by Gerald Mearshart. Gerald Mearshart, GR3, he is a very good fighter. I'm not gonna, he's GM3, very good fighter. He's the OG, he's the legend. He's been around for a long time. He's never gonna be a champ, but he's been around. He's a guy, a better Sam Alvey, and he's got good jiu-jitsu. I'm not gonna lie. I know he's submitted a lot of people, but let me tell you something. Cabarajo is not getting submitted by Gerald Mearshart on any planet in any phase of life. So Cabarajo, I just imagine, is going to do something similar. He is going to, at some point, very, very quickly into the first round, into the second round, and into the third round, because I think this fight's going to go all 3 rounds. It's kind of what Kyle likes to do. Lately, he's been getting a decent amount of decisions. He's got 4 decisions in his last 6 fights. No, 5 decisions in his last 6 fights. So, and then he had a knockout on one of the Contender Series. So, he was on the Contender Series, had a boring decision when Dana told him to come back the next month, and he did and got a finish. So, he's a good prospect. This guy is, I think, a guy who's going to be a champ. He's 29 years old, nearing 30, but he's still young. I think this is going to be a possible future champ. He is very, very, very good. He's like a Andre Muniz, except he's even better. Muradov, like I said, he is those Uzbekistanians, all those Kazakhstans, the Kyrgyzstans, the Stanians, any Stans, they're all beasts. But man, I just can't get the GM3 submission out of my memory. I can't get that taste off my tongue. And Kyle's just on a different level. He's a beast right now. He's 12-1. In his one loss coming, in 2015. So by decision, it's not like he got finished either. So he is. He's coming off wins against Armin Petrosian and Omar Gatsiev. We talked about them earlier on the card. They are very good fighters. I just think he's going to get the job done. I think he's going to implement the wrestling. Maybe he gets the job. Maybe he gets the finish. Maybe I don't think he does. I think a lot of these fights. I think this fight, as a lot of fights, are going to be going to decision. And this is going to be one of them. Cabarajo by decision. Moving on up the card to a very good a prelim main event, or I should say the preliminary feature prelim. And this was originally supposed to be on the pay-per-view, and then for whatever reason they had to put the Caitlin Chookagian and Manyan Frioret fights on there instead. But for whatever reasons, I don't know. It is what it is. Bilal Muhammad and Sean Brady for the people. That's cool. Or not. I don't know, depending on how this fight ends up being, because Bilal does like to lay on you like a wet blanket. But I'm going to be on the side of Bilal Muhammad, and here's why. He's the underdog. This is definitely one of those bets. This is definitely one of those dog or pass fights where you just kind of take the dog and you roll with it. Bilal Muhammad was the favorite here and has since became the underdog. I think Bilal Muhammad's going to get it done just off veteran experience. If this were 5 rounds, 100%, I'd be taking Bilal Muhammad, hammering it. He'd probably be the favorite. He'd probably still be the slight favorite if that were the case. But being 3 rounds, Sean Brady, maybe could steal first 2 rounds. But I think if Sean Brady does not knock Bilal Muhammad out somehow, which could very well happen. Sean Brady is Sean Brady's a very good fighter. But he doesn't have. He doesn't have he's a hard hitter, but he's not like a heavy hitter. He's not a heavy knockout artist. He's only got 3 knockouts in his 15 wins. In his 15 total fights, he's 15-0. He's a wrestling based fighter, a dominant wrestling based fighter. It's just like I said, this is going to be one of those coin flips. I don't know if he's going to be able to outdo Bilal in the wrestling compartment. And I think Bilal will be able to stifle any takedowns he gets, and I think he eventually will be able to execute his own takedowns. He's going to be able to. I think he's got the better stand-up. I think his stand-up's been getting better. I think his pace and his cardio, he just will veteran his way, I think, in this fight to a decision, of course, because that's how he wins. He doesn't finish anybody. He says he's going to finish. He says he's going to put Sean Brady to sleep. Obviously he's been training with Khabib, so Khabib has been telling him things and saying things to him. Hey, repeat this, repeat after me, Bilal. You say this, Bilal. Say this, Bilal. But no, the Bilal Muhammad's not putting anybody to sleep except the people watching at home. With his performance, I root for him because he's from the area. Obviously, I love Bilal Muhammad. In that, I shouldn't say I love Bilal Muhammad. I am always going to root for Bilal Muhammad because he's from the area, and he's pretty cool. He had some comments about Philly. He hates Philly. It's funny. I hate Philly too. Philly kind of sucks. Not the city of Philly. Just sometimes they're fans, but that's a story for another day. Bilal Muhammad. We're gonna take the dog on here. I think he's a plus. I think he's a plus like 120. I want to say on DraftKings now, plus 130. Might even be plus 140, but I don't think any higher than that. He's somewhere around there. Check your book for the best number if you're on the side of him. I'm on the side of him. I think he's going to get a 29-28 decision victory in this one. Sean Brady's very good. He's 29. He's entering his prime of his career. He could get this done. You would normally, I would say, older guy on the way out, younger guy on the way up, but I don't think that's the case here. I think Bilal is at the top of his game right now, and I think he's got one more. Like Sean Brady is going to be the one more guy that he holds off right now. I don't think he gets any higher than where he is right now. As far as I don't believe he beats Hamza. I don't believe he beats Colby. I don't believe he beats Leon. I don't believe he beats Usman. So, but this is still a big win, and he's still a very good fighter. So remember the name, or so they say, Bilal Muhammad by decision. Moving on up to the pay-per-view, the actual pay-per-view, the first fight. And before I continue, be sure, guys, to like this video. Please like and subscribe to this channel. Those MMA guys, I greatly appreciate it. And if you want to follow me on Twitter or talk shit to me on Twitter, tell me how terrible or how boring I am on the microphone here on these videos on Twitter. You can follow me on Twitter or say whatever on Twitter. Find my Twitter in the description below. Like and subscribe, please. Caitlin Chikagan and Manian Fiora. I am going to be on the side of Manian Fiora, and here's why. Caitlin Chikagan is a very good fighter. I actually think she's very, very good. The problem is, she's just had a split decision win with Amanda Ribas, who's a very good who's a very good fighter, but she couldn't really implement her grappling on her, and she's a strawweight, Amanda Ribas. So Manian Fiora is, I believe, the next challenger for Valentina Shevchenko. Especially if she gets this fight, if she gets this win here in dominant fashion, which I think is going to be the case here, and I think Caitlin Chikagan's very good. I don't think it's going to look dominant. It's not going to be like Chikagan's just getting her absolute ass kicked, blood everywhere, lip hanging off her fucking face. It's not going to be like that. But it's going to be kind of like the Jessica Aye thing, or the Jennifer Maia thing, where Fiora looked, there was a moment there where Maia, connected well. But outside of that moment, it was pretty much domination and Fiora picking her apart on the feet, at range, whatever distance she felt like being at. And I think she's going to do that here. I think she's going to hit some good body shots in Caitlin Chikagan. She likes to attack the body, and Jessica Andrade. That's how Chikagan got her last loss. Hooks to the body. Fiora maybe does that. maybe throw some heavy kicks to the body, attacks that liver, and gets herself maybe a, you know what, maybe Fiora brings the violence. Normally these women fights, they go the distance, but Fiora, maybe, maybe she gets this one done later on, late in the fight, late round 3 stoppage, from kicks to the body and just repeatedly picking Chikagan apart throughout the fight. Good fighter, both good fighters, good fight. No problem. Maybe they thought that Bilal was going to be so boring and just wrestle fuck Brady to death that they were like, we're going to throw Fiora onto and Chikagan. We figure there's a better chance of violence happening in this fight than happening in the Bilal and Brady fight. How sad is that? Moving on up to a fight that I'm very much looking forward to, and that is Beneil Dariush making his return, his long-awaited return, 1 year and 4 month return since he last fought Tony Ferguson. Taking on Mateusz Gamrot, who I am very high on, and I think lost his last fight to Arman Tsarukyan and won his fight against Guram Kudalasi 2 years ago. So he's 21-1 either way in my eyes, regardless. Beneil Dariush, very good fighter. Jiu-jitsu, very good grappling, very good, very solid stand-up. I think Gamrot has the better stand-up than him. Slightly. I could be wrong, but I think he slightly does, just from what I've seen between the both of them. But, it's, they both kind of cancel each other out because neither one of them are way better than the other in that department. Gamrot, however, I think is a better wrestler than Dariush, and I think that's going to be shown in this. I think Gamrot is the best wrestler in the division. I think that is going to be a big reason why I'm high on him, so high on him, but that's a big reason why I think, he could be a champion eventually. He's in the prime of his career right now. He's 31 years old. This is the win that he wins this. He's probably looking at, depending on how he wins this, if he can win this if he can finish Dariush, and I think that's something that could possibly happen because Dariush is coming off a 1 year and 4 month layoff. That is big in your 30s. When you're 33 years old and you take off a 1.5 years and he's coming off the leg. Yeah, I know he didn't take off a year, but he had the broken leg. He's coming off a big injury. To jump in there with Mateusz Gamrot, that is asking a lot. And yeah, he beat Tony Ferguson. Yeah, he beat Diego Ferreira, who Gamrot also beat Diego Ferreira, I believe. Yes, he did. But he finished Diego Ferreira though, and Beneil Dariush, went to split decision with him, as well as Jakar Klaus. I mean, the overhand left. I mean, he knocked him out. He was taking some big shots, getting rocked hard, and then all of a sudden threw a big shot and landed and just knocked out. It was a wild comeback knockout for Beneil Dariush in that fight. I don't see him being able to do something like that to Gamrot. He might land a couple of big shots on Gamrot, but he's not going to be able to outpace Gamrot because nobody can. Gamrot's the real deal. Mateusz! I'm rolling with the gamer, Gamrot. He's on a roll. He's on a mission. He sees his eyes are on the prize. He said it after his win against Arman Tsarukyan. The new era is here. The new breed has arrived, and he is a part of and is starting to lead that new breed. And that is going to start with a disposing of Beneil Dariush. I think he's going to ragdoll him. I think the first round will look close. I think Dariush will, it'll be a slow one. That's why it'll look close. It'll be a slow first round. Even though Gamrot does like to push the pace, but I think in the second round you'll start to really see Gamrot show that this is the new breed. Dariush, I think, might be slightly bigger than him. Not bigger than him, because of muscle, but just kind of a bigger-ish bodier than him. He's a thicker body than Gamrot. Gamrot's a slimmer body, so that could spell trouble for Gamrot if he does land, end up on his back and Dariush is on top of him. He would not want that to happen, but I just think Gamrot is going to show that there's levels to this, and I think Gamrot's going to get this one done by decision, 3-round decision. Yeah, I don't think, could he get a late round knockout, a late fight, maybe the second or third round finish? Yeah, that wouldn't surprise me, but I think he's going to get the decision. I think Dariush is going to survive. Moving on. Up the card to the feature fight, and my goodness, did we not think we'd be seeing this in 2022? Peter Yan and Sean O'Malley. And, I'm going to be on the side of, so listen, because the odds have actually come down a lot. They're down, it's like plus 225, which is now not as valuable as I thought it was going to be. Originally it was like you were getting O'Malley at like 3-1. Now it's came down a little bit. Obviously, there's been some money coming in on O'Malley, and maybe some realization that O'Malley could potentially win this fight. Has come to the books because he can win this fight. I mean, I'm sick and tired of people acting like you're experts on because you say that Peter Yan's gonna just absolutely dispose of Sean O'Malley, take him to the graveyard, sweep him like dust. It's not gonna happen like that. Gun to my head, I think Peter Yan gets this done by decision, and that's what I'm gonna pick. I think Peter Yan is going to be. That's going to be my official pick for this card. Peter Yan by decision. However, I'm also going to sprinkle on some money on Sean O'Malley by decision. I saw plus 500, and then by knockout is plus 550 on DraftKings. You got to. You have to at those odds because Sean O'Malley is, first of all, never going to have those odds again when it comes to knocking out or going to decision with anybody again, especially if he wins this fight. I think Sean O'Malley, at the bare minimum, is going to prove that he at least belongs with these elite fighters. He may not win this fight with Peter Yan because Peter Yan is just, Peter Yan is on a different level. He's a Russian kickboxer. He is, I don't think he's going to fall. Sean O'Malley, a lot of his game is feints. He throws very good feints. And you never know what angle where he's going to come. He likes to fuck around and dance around and throw a lot of feints before he really throws his combinations. But I don't think Peter Yan's going to fall for a lot of those. And I think Peter Yan's as good as anybody is in the UFC at closing distance, and I think that's what he's going to do. Eventually, he might lose the first round, start off a little slow. O'Malley lands some good shots. Maybe even stuns Peter Yan, has him backing up a little bit. Maybe, could even appear to look like he's in trouble, but he will survive it, get out of it, and I think as the fight goes on, he's going to start landing those low kicks, and then follow in his, combos after that. And I don't think Sean O'Malley is ready for this competition yet. 27, going on 28, I get it. It's not like Peter Yan is that much older than him. He's only 29, but it's just the experience level. Sean O'Malley, I think he looked good against Pedro Munoz, but he wasn't dominant, and I think Peter Yan dominates Pedro Munoz. But styles make fights, and Sean O'Malley is a fucking foot taller than Peter Yan, it seems like. Maybe he's getting into his head with the shit talking. But either way, Sean O'Malley's worth a shot on the decision or knockout prop just because it's a lot, and he definitely is a live dog in this. He's for sure a live dog. He's more of a live dog, I believe. Maybe Peter Yan will prove me wrong, and he starches Sean O'Malley in the first round and has me looking like a fucking moron. But you know what? I don't believe that is going to be the case here. I think Sean O'Malley is going to prove he belongs, and I think he's going to make this a close, not win, but a close decision loss. 29-28, Peter Yan. Moving on, up the card to the co-main event. Finally, I shouldn't say finally. I think we're actually moving along on this video pretty smoothly here. We got our best bets coming up here in just a few moments. We're going to roll through these last few fights. Aljamain Sterling and TJ Juiceman Dillashaw. I'm going to be on the Sterling side here. I'm not taking TJ Dillashaw. Nope, not me. Nope, I'm not doing it. I'm not falling for it. I'm not taking those plus money. Ooh, TJ Dillashaw plus money. Yeah, he could win. Like, I totally could see him winning by knockout. He likes to throw those high kicks. Aljamain Sterling, how did he lose? He lost to Marlon Moraes by head kick. Yeah, it could very well happen. I just don't believe it's going to happen. I think Sterling's going to, Dillashaw's a good wrestler. People, yes, I know, I'm aware he's a good wrestler, but I don't think it's going to matter. I think Sterling's going to clamp onto him at some point, eventually take his back. And when Sterling takes his back, I've never seen him lose a round where he took somebody's back, because pretty much in any fight that I've seen, when he takes your back, that's the end of it for that round. If he doesn't finish you that round, you're not leaving that position for the rest of the round. So kiss that round goodbye. And he could very well just do that for 5 rounds in this fight with TJ Dillashaw. Just outclass him completely. Take his back. Maybe he doesn't finish him. He's not a super hard puncher, but Dillashaw, he is aggressive. He likes to throw a lot of punches. He likes to get a little bit reckless. He really wants his belt back. Obviously, he's coming off the suspension. Then he had the Corey Sandhagen fight last year, which was a split decision, which I don't even know if he won. Yeah, he won, but it was barely. And Sterling, submitted Corey Sandhagen in the first round. I believe so. Yeah, rear naked choke. So I think Sterling is just at the top of his game right now, and I just don't think he's going to lose to a 36 going on 37-year-old Dillashaw. Dillashaw is, and that fight was also over a year ago. So he hasn't taken a lot of damage, I guess you could say. He's got that going for him, but he's not very active for a guy who is going against a guy who's very, very active and been fighting killers: Pedro Munoz, Corey Sandhagen, Peter Yan twice, and now he's fighting. So I'm on the Aljamain Sterling train right now, sadly, and I think he's going to win this fight. And I think he's going to go decision. I think he does go to decision. Could there be a late stoppage? Sure. We'll just go ahead and select decision now, as I've been being on the safe side with a lot of these fights tonight. But that's just, look, it was so freaking close. A lot of these fights are coin tosses. They really are. There's a lot of these. This is by far the best card on paper of the year so far, without a question. And Abu Dhabi paid. Abu Dhabi paid their top dollar for this card, and as you can see, and rightfully so. I don't even care that it starts at 9 in the morning, that I'm going to wake up. I actually have to make sure I wake up on Saturday morning in time for this fight, for these fights, because I got to watch the start to finish. Maybe I can skip the first fight, Carl Rosa and Lena Landsberg, but yeah, this is a great card, and it's going to be hopefully ended with an absolute banger of a main event, and that is Charles Oliveira and Islam Makhachev, the fight that we have been waiting for, what feels like the Tony Ferguson versus Khabib fight. Charles Oliveira and Islam Makhachev, this feels like the 2 best lightweights, and yes, you fucking pieces of you wrong people that just continuously go on social media and say stupid shit like, oh, Islam Makhachev hasn't beaten anybody. He doesn't even deserve it. Shut the hell up. Shut up. Stop talking. Yes, he does. Yes, he does. Beat Bobby Green in seconds. Finished Drew Dober, who's a very good fighter. Beat Arman Tsarukyan, who would beat just about every freaking lightweight right now. Every single one of them. Pretty much everybody. He would pretty much everybody in the lightweight division, Arman Tsarukyan would beat. And Islam Makhachev out-wrestled him and out-grappled him for 3 rounds. Submitted Dan Hooker in a minute and a half. Dan Hooker would not be submitted in a minute and a half by anybody else in the division, but he was by Islam Makhachev. So don't give me this crap that Islam, nobody wanted. Michael Chandler was not taking a fight with Islam Makhachev. Dustin Poirier was not taking a fight with Islam Makhachev. He was not going to get an opportunity to beat a top 5 guy to get this opportunity to get this title shot. So I don't want to hear that anymore. He deserves this shot. He's 22-1. He's on a 10-12 fight winning streak. He is or a 10 fight winning streak. He is the real deal right now. He is a Khabib style fighter, a Nurmagomedov high pressure, wrestle heavy, grapple fighter with a solid stand up, a better stand up than Khabib has or had. My pick on this, I've been so back and forth on this, and it's been really, truly has taken literally up until just now for me to make this as my final pick. And honestly, this might even change seconds before this fight starts. I mean, this is how much of a coin toss I'm really looking at this, because Charles Oliveira is the ultimate black belt. Islam Makhachev has had trouble with black belts who can strike. The one he got knocked out by was a black belt who could strike. Davi Ramos, he's been stunned before. A Brazilian jiu-jitsu black belt who can strike as good as Oliveira, I think can give Islam trouble. And it's going to go one of two ways. I'm going to be right or I'm going to be wrong. Charles Oliveira is either going to win this fight in the first round or the second round by knockout, or he's going to lose this fight by submission, by knockout, or by a 5-round decision. He's not going to submit Islam Makhachev. It would have to be a club and sub type submission where you rock Islam so bad, then you take his back quick. Other than that, I just don't see, and that could very well happen. That's why Oliveira is a live dog in this. I can't believe I'm saying that. Oliveira is a live dog. He's the freaking champion, even though he's not technically the champion. He is the number 1 lightweight in the entire world right now. He beats everybody else in the division right now. But this could be his toughest task, and this could be a guy that I don't think he matches up too well with. Islam Makhachev, high pressure, heavy wrestling. He's very patient. I don't think he's going to get into a firefight with Oliveira. Oliveira's going to maybe try to do that. He's going to get close to him, and I think Islam is going to latch on to him, work those trips, sweep the feet, or maybe Oliveira gets in close with him, and Islam hits him with some good shots, drops him, and then goes to the ground with him. I could see that happen. Islam doesn't have, I don't think he has the hands to put Oliveira down like Poirier and Chandler and Gaethje. But he's big, he's strong, he's going to be bigger than Oliveira, just built-wise. So I'm going to be rooting for Oliveira. It's unfortunate that I think he's going to lose. I think Islam Makhachev is a monster, and we're going to find out. We're going to find out if he is the goods, if he is what Khabib says he is, what Amir Abdelaziz, I can't even say his damn name, his manager. We're going to find out in front of all of his fans in his backyard in Abu Dhabi. It's not technically his backyard, but it's close enough to the Dagestan. He is going to be, this is his moment. Is he going to rise to the occasion? This is going to be passing of the torch right here if Islam wins. And unfortunately, I do feel like if Islam wins, he's going to have that belt for a very long time. Let's get into our best bets real quick before we get on. I send you guys on out of here. So we got my best bets. I got Gamrot Dariush over 2.5 rounds. I think that's going to be my biggest bet of the evening. I think that fight does honestly go the distance, definitely over 2.5. I just think Dariush and Gamrot both got solid chins. Dariush has obviously been finished before, but I don't see either one. Gamrot goes to decision a lot, and I see Dariush being able to. I think he loses, but I think he squeezes by with the decision loss here. Almeida and Tukagov, I think that goes over 2.5 rounds. I just think that it ends up being Tukagov could get knocked out. It could spell trouble for him when Almeida likes to be reckless and wild, and for Tukagov's patient style, that could spell trouble in that regard. So, but I still believe that these two should go the distance. They're both very good fighters. Omar Gatsayev, Omar Gatsayev money line plus money. I just got to. It's what, like I said several times throughout this. You got those dog or pass situations. This is one of those. You got to take the dog here. One of these fighters. These are a lot of these fighters that are underdogs on this card. You are not going to see them be underdogs ever again, or anytime soon at least. So 2 units on that. Nikita Krylov money line, 2 units minus 175 again. Ozdemir, I just think he looked like garbage in his last fight, and it's just Krylov looked better, and I think Krylov's going to get it done. I think he might even finish him, to be honest. Put the man out of his misery. And then O'Malley money line. That's just a small unit, plus 225, just because the value. And Sean O'Malley will probably never be a plus 225 against anybody ever again. He shouldn't be 225 or higher. He shouldn't be anything more than a 2-1 dog with Peter Yan. It's just the reality. Peter Yan's good, but come on, Sean O'Malley's very good too. I know he's not training with Rafael Fasiv and in the Tiger Muay Thai and all that, and living in the mountains and training with werewolves, but O'Malley's still a beast. Then I got my parlay. I'm throwing a unit on this. Bilal Muhammad and Sean Brady over 2.5 rounds. Mateusz Gamrot money line. Mokaev money line, and then Arma Petrosyan money line. Mokaev minus 1150. Put all that together, plus 234. That sounds pretty good to me, doesn't it? Should sound pretty good to you. Sugar Shane, he's not here, but I will go through his real quick. He's got the same Gamrot Dariush over 2.5 rounds as I do. Dillashaw plus 150. He's on the Dillashaw side. I believe, he was saying to me, because I think I called him crazy kind of as a joke. I'm like, oh, you're wild. It's not really crazy. Dillashaw's good. He's a live dog. I'm not saying he's not. But he was saying that he just believes that TJ's a good grappler. He's gonna, and Sterling's not gonna be able to hold him down. And if it stays standing, that Sterling doesn't have the stand up to keep up with TJ. I disagree. I think Aljamain doesn't have the better standing, but I think he can keep it. I think he can handle his own on his feet. But I don't know. I just disagree. But we can agree to disagree. We can always talk about it, maybe on a recap video that we do after this, because I think we are going to have to do a recap on this, because there is going to have to be a recap of this, because this is one of the biggest fights of all time. Charles Oliveira and Islam Makhachev. It really feels like, for once, for the first time ever, we are seeing the best versus the best. We are finally seeing the best guy in the world take on the best Dagestani that the Habib of the modern era right now. And that's Islam Makhachev. And then real quick, Sugar Shane's parlay, Arma Petrosyan, TJ Dillashaw, and Mateusz Gamrot. All money line, and all give you a combined plus 467 parlay. Those are our best bets. Those are our parlays. Again, I am the professor. You can follow me on Twitter. You can click the like button and subscribe. Please click the like button and subscribe to this channel. I would greatly appreciate it. Please, please, please. I greatly appreciate it. You have no idea how much I appreciate it. Trust me. I would show you. Please, trust me. I appreciate it. Yeah, do that. Be a good sport. Be a good follower and a good listener. I give you best bets. I give you fucking winners. These are winners that I'm giving you. I'm going to put some goddamn money in your pockets. Me, I am the king, the great one, the phenomenal one, the professor. Yeah. Man. High as fuck right now. Damn, I hate that I just said that. It is what it is, though. Like and subscribe. Enjoy the pay-per-view. It starts at 9 a.m., so make sure you set your alarms. Do not miss this card, start to finish. All these fights, literally the early prelims, the main card, the main event, the co-main event, all of it. Watch it. This is going to be highlights, fireworks, bangers, top to bottom, and I can't wait. Like I said, set your alarms. And I will see you, and hopefully Shane will see you in the next video next week. Thank you, guys. And again, like I said, click the like button and subscribe. Boom. Later.